And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the NESL Open Playoffs. I am Rapid with V's McDuffer, and we're into our first game of the night. It's going to be a best of three between Otacool, the ranked 13 challenger team in the blue, coming out from the bottom left-hand corner of Summoner's Rift, going up against Nothing to Lose, team in the upper right in the red. And starting things out for the 1v1, which team do you think has the advantage here, McDuffer?
I'm sorry, did you say the 1v1?
Level one.
Oh,
That's what I
okay.
meant.
Yeah.
There we go.
In the level 1, I think that it really depends on what each team plans to do, and it looks like they're just defending right now, but I think that if they met up in the jungle, if Thresh hooked someone, it would be, like, pretty much an assured kill. Um, Especially someone like Zyra. But it looks like otacool is actually gonna get a ward on the red, possibly. Yeah, looks like they're getting that early scouting, so it's good for them. They're gonna know where the jungler is at.
Now, it seemed to me like when they were putting the early ward there, usually you do see double deep wards, one at the red buff too, a little bit around the corner. It did seem like possibly not wanting to overextend into the enemy jungle and risk getting cut off, and so now it's a much more of a defensive posture from Otacool as they just kind of set up around their own red buff, and so for early level ones, it looks like there aren't any early level ones. We're just going to start things off with both junglers at the lower side of the map, looking to get double buffs, hit that level 3, and then get an early gank in top or mid.
Yeah, and it looks like also both of the bottom lanes are actually in the bottom, so that'll be an interesting matchup. I think that if it all is a matter of mobility, and if Thresh manages to catch someone, then they're gonna be forced to pop the flash anyway, if not get a kill. So I'm kind of surprised to see the 2v2 actually. I thought that they would 2v1 it, because Thresh is kind of scary, but looks like they're just gonna do that 2v2 lane.
Yeah, and I would also have expected a 2v1 out of Otacool, because not only are they extremely experienced, or Fallen Bandit rather, extremely experienced at running into 1v1 or 1v2s, but also Shen works really well in a 1v2, and Renekton not quite so much, unless you're talking about kill potential when you get a jungle gank. So we'll see that 2v2, and most interesting, it's going to be the 1v1 mid, like we were talking about before the game, is Yugi. Duelist we don't get to see all that often versus Easy, one of the better AP mid laners, at least if you want to consider just the challenger scene, as far as the last time he played professionally on GGLA last season of MCS. So it's nice to see him here and back in control. He's playing Gragas versus Orianna, a matchup that actually works out pretty well for Gragas, but should see the first round of jungle ganks as Nicky Poo comes top lane. Hasn't been scouted out by a ward just yet, so nobody really knows where he is. Dolphin Trainers chipped the top lane, met with no success, and so he's back in the jungle farming up.
Yeah, I'm kind of... Oh, and there's the pause.
That was an incredibly well-timed pause. If that pause had come like a second later, Nicky Poo would have walked out of the brush and would have fired a cocoon at Yugi, but because he still hasn't been revealed by any wards, Yugi still doesn't know it's coming. So we're about to see something happen in 3 seconds that is going to determine the fate of this middle lane. Easy's body slamming in, gets the body slam, there's the cocoon, forces the flash immediately. Yugi will continue to take the damage, flash in, extra damage down, the flash auto attack from Easy.
Oh, and in the bottom lane.
Away. And bottom at the same time, it's gonna be a one kill down there, as well as Moonwave falls down, play backwards, and Profit, good guy Honeydew, gives the kill over to Juke King, who will pick up a double kill and off to an extremely good early start for, I almost said GGLA, but for Nothing to Lose.
Yeah, definitely. That was a lot of action at one time. It sets them now 1.5k ahead and 4 minutes into the game, so that's pretty good for a start. I didn't exactly see what happened in the bot lane, but it looks like Thresh just hit a hook, I'm guessing is what happened. So
it was a nice death sentence, and then the follow-up Valkyrie forward, Juking was able to kind of follow that up, and the flay backwards at the end kind of was surprising to me, because Prophet hadn't blown flash. You'll notice he still has flash up, and I would have expected him to just flash out of there and stay alive, but instead wound up giving up a kill, and that was going to be a very early kill. You will see Juke King go back to base and walk back into lane with a sheen. That's
in the mid lane.
there's more gangs, one right after another. It's a 2v2 for now, but Nicky Poo very low. You see Easy pick up a kill off the back of that. Now he's going to go into on the Dolphin Trader. Nicky Poo probably will go down. There's the Dragon Strike. Pick up the kill as Easy will make it out. It's a 1v1 nonetheless. But Yugi now is 0 and 2, having a really rough time versus Easy's Gragas.
Yeah, I'm definitely kind of starting to feel bad for this poor Orianna. He just walks into the lane and gets... It's like solo queue. Getting camped with that jungle, so... He's falling... Actually, he's not even behind in CS, so it's just kills right now that is ahead for purple team. For in the mid lane anyway.
And that's actually an advantage that might actually start to fall off a little bit. CS really is that big consistent source of gold income, and picking up kills is nice and it gives you that big boost to buy out items that you really need, but CSing is what keeps you in the game, and as for now, Orianna actually in the CS advantage. Now going to have a little bit of extra presence from Dolphin Trainer. I think
bottom lane of ganks going down again.
It is, and Prophet getting taken out once again. Attempted repel up there to block the Zyra 2 damage, but it's just the ganks coming down absolutely everywhere. Nicky Poo just across the map, making it happen for both Easy and for Juke King, and I think it's actually Honeydew doing his best to hit hooks on Ezreal, which requires a little bit of mad life there. You didn't see the Arcane Shift. He's gonna wait until you have Dolphin Trainer jumping in there for a little bit of extra assistance. The red buff's actually on Honeydew. There's a nice Q out there. Moonway in a little bit of trouble, but after taking the Dark Passage out, Dolphin Trader did not have flash for a flash knockup with Demacian Standard, and so no kills down there. Yugi, meanwhile, in the mid lane. I was talking about fights all over the map. It's just...
It's really hard to direct this camera.
It really is. Even directed camera falls that hard to direct. Top lane is... It's really nice because not a whole lot happening. It's just Fallen Bandit farming at his turret. Not really actually trying to fight Dr. Ildril up there at all. He's just trying to poke in for a little bit of damage here and there.
Yeah, it's they're really even on CS and everything too, so nothing much happening in the top lane. But yeah, Gragas and Orianna are still literally tied on CS, which is kind of interesting because the Orianna has died 3 times, so you would expect Gragas to be a little ahead of CS by now, but maybe he's just going back really quick every time after he gets the kill.
And you'll notice a reaction to the 0-3 status of Orianna right now. Yugi is placed at 2 wards on either side of the mid lane. So if anything happens mid, he's gonna know about it. And so hopefully, we talked about earlier how Easy's been kind of a comeback king over the course of his professional career. It's gonna be up to Yugi to kind of show us his ability to come back too. Because now that Nicky Poo's gonna give a blue buff over to Easy, he's also gonna have that Athene's Unholy Grail after double Duran's rings. What's going to get him there is the gold from picking up this dragon. Does look like nothing to lose, have nothing to lose right now, except possibly the dragon. Not really all that possible as Dolphin Trainer is still giving blue buff over to Yugi at the same time.
Yeah, it looks like this is just going to go down uncontested. Shen gets a taunt under the turret. Actually, no, he doesn't.
Dolphin Trainer coming in. There's a nice knock up. Dominus down. Gonna try to kill off Dolphin Trainer. Ignite down as well. Dr. Ildril does not have Ghost. He's just sitting with the flash. May decide to flash away here. He's still not sure if he can get out alive. The answer is the flash slice flash and then dies afterwards. The flash in, but it's an auto attack instead of a dragon strike. Thinking it was meaning to Dragon Strike, but you know what? Killing minions is cool too, and that means that Dr. Ildril survives. Double Dorans in hand, he returns back to base.
That was really close. The mechanics on that were pretty on par. Well, above par, I guess. He knew exactly when to flash in that, and actually looks like something's going down the bottom.
Yeah, bottom lane is looking for the dive. Not quite happening out there. A nice word in that double golem brush by Prophet just to say, you know, when exactly stuff was starting to go down. Yugi was starting to roam bottom, but is still going to return to mid. Nicky Poo pushing that lane up as Dr. Ildril returns to the top lane. And really, if you want to look at the ward coverage right now, 1, 2, 3 pink wards around Dragon with 2 other red wards for 5 wards on the bottom half of the map. So much vision there for nothing to lose that they can possibly even see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, you can see that gold investment in the items that these supports have because Zyra has been placing a bunch of wards too, but obviously they've been pinked out, and she's behind on global gold, so she can't counter pink. So she's just got components for a fairy charm, whereas Thresh has all these pink wards and a ruby crystal, so he's going to be really tanky in this dive.
And dive, they will possibly waiting for the wave to be pushed up. And now that it is, Anidu and Juking gonna get some help from Nikki Poo as one of the only ranged junglers, really good at poking in onto the turret barrels to zone things out from behind the turret from Easy. It's gonna be a 4-on-3 push down here. Yugi's still rotating. Minion wave does evaporate. Death Sentence grabs a very unfortunate minion. And you gotta know it's the first minion in that troop running into the enemy team. I mean, there's some feelings that you probably are just not supposed to feel, and as the front minion, you're kind of like the head lemming. You're the one that gets to run over the cliff the first, and
I mean,
everybody else just kind of follows you.
You must still feel kind of like a badass, though. You're just like charging headlong into the enemy tower. Mighty warrior.
Maybe they're Spartan minions. I don't know. Either way, they're very brave. I would not want to be a minion. But Juking, Honeydew, Nikki Poo gonna get the grab onto Robin. Immediately, Shed Ultimate goes down. No way that's completing. You even saw the dive past the turret by Dr. Ildril to stun Fallen Bandit out of that. I'm not sure there's any possibility of him ever getting down there, but a nice bait. The Bush of Death working out. There's nothing to lose, have nothing to lose. Not quite the same for Otacool, who will be losing their first turn of the game.
Oh.
But the action continues as Nikki Poo gonna be able to pick up Dolphin Trader. I'm not sure if he was trying to save the turret, if he didn't expect it to fall so soon, but another kill, the 8th kill of the game, goes over to nothing to lose.
Yeah, I'm guessing he just didn't realize that the tower was so low. And Ezreal gives us some nice commentary as well. We belong in a museum. But yeah, I'm guessing that Jarvan just didn't realize that it was that low. Because that was a little interesting decision to stay.
I mean, a lot of very interesting decisions. Corki actually went with a Sheen first, which is a very aggressive build, but to capitalize on his early double kill, and then picked up the Phage second, so a little bit out of order there. You will see the Tiamat, the aggressive build from Dr. Ildril in the top lane, looking to just get as much wave clear as possible to try to counteract Fallen Bandit's ability to push things into his turret before he actually picks up that Sunfire Cape, which looks to be in the cards for him right now. Dr. Ildril be able to clear out the wave just almost immediately. Now it's Honeydew getting a hook onto Dolphin Trader in his own jungle. You can see all that magic penetration there, really dropping it down. Cocoon lands at max range, and even with the command Shockwave to follow up off the back of that, Yugi makes it back to his turret without being able to save the unfortunate demise of Dolphin Trader. Nikki Poo hits the back before taking the Dark Passageway out from between the mid turrets, and nothing to cool. Starting to feel themselves right now. 4,500 gold ahead.
Yeah, and it looks like they're just going to be able to push this tower down with no opposition. I mean, there's no way that Blue can really contest anything right now. Their best chance is to just hold off for the late game at this point. They do have pretty good teamfight team with the disengage and the ability to kite out their opponents, so they're just gonna have to wait until things like Baron start happening, I think, and just force the enemy team to do things, because right now they're just really not in a position to do anything.
Now the Tiamat's going to work out really well for Dr. Ildril, because even though Fallen Bandit is not going to be at risk of a dive from Easy, with the turret at half HP and Easy in the top lane, they're deciding to gank the turret instead, and turrets don't really put up a lot of a fight when there's a full minion wave there. With that, that is the third and final outer turret down. Ooh, Easy picks up 78 gold with just a body slam. So they're going to continue to push top lane after all outer turrets falling in favor of nothing to lose.
Yeah, it looks like they're just playing this slow strangulation game. They've been in Blue Side's jungle for pretty much the past at least like 6 minutes, I would say. And it looks like they're gonna go pick up a second dragon here as well.
They pick up the first one, and with this dragon going down, it's going to set their gold lead even further ahead. Now at about 6,500, 7,000 gold. really starting to get up there in the unreachable comeback area. But if you'll notice, well, you actually mentioned this very early on. The CS differential was not all that big because with Orianna getting camped out super hard early on, she hit 0-3 and it was actually still even. Now, with a 21 CS advantage, Yugi, very impressive ability to keep the CS up in that mid lane even after getting camped so hard.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that is the fact that Gragas has been roaming so much. He's front bottom, he's gone to Dragon 2 times. He's always been there where his team needs him to be rather than making himself stronger as an individual. So he's pretty much been there to buffer this now, what, 8, 9, yeah, about 7,000 gold lead. He's pretty much been monumental in making that happen and just helping his team to be better.
And that's going to be really important because not only is Gragas a little bit farther behind, the CS is going to give Orianna her first big core item and then Athene's Unholy Grail. And actually before the Athene's from Easy, since he took a little bit of a pit stop for a needlessly large rod. The big difference though will be in those Trinity Force 80 carries. And while where that item is the huge power spike, it's going to take Ezreal Moonway a little bit longer to get there than you'd otherwise expect. Command Shockwave goes down on Honeydew. He's going to flash out, throw it on the box, the dunk over the box. Well, now Dolphin Trader picking up a kill onto Honeydew. He's going to take the Shen ultimate and get him all the way down there, but can't follow up because Fallen Bandit gets stunned out by Dr. Ildril, who continues to push Shen around in that top lane, just bully him out. But after that exchange, it's a 2-for-1. Or 2-for-none rather, in favor of otacool. So we've been talking about how nothing to lose, it really has nothing to lose up until now, but a 2-for-1 after a very nice command shockwave to start that out. What turned that fight so far around in favor of otacool?
They fought in a very good place for Zyra ultimate. So that Zyra ultimate pretty much disrupted the entire team fight. And it made it possible for, even though they're behind in gold and have less items, it made it possible for otacool to capitalize on that team fight in such a confined space.
Oh, the flash shot from Fallen Bandit locks up Dr. Ildril and Easy, and there's Moonway coming in with the damage from the back. Gets the attack speed slow from the barrel exploding on it, but Fallen Bandit absolutely huge. Gets in there, tries for the death set, or tries for the taunt, but cannot land Shadow Dash and will instead wind up getting his death sentence there. And now it's Nicky Poo. Gonna throw the ward over the wall looking for a cocoon. Where does it land? Robin's gonna get hit by the cocoon, but snare up Nicky Poo at the same time. Doesn't stop spellcast, so the venomous bite is enough to take him down. And off of a 2-for-0, another 2-for-0 right back at you. As Dr. Ildril comes down. There's Command Shockwave actually with the Ezreal ultimate is enough. Nicky Poo falls. Yugi picks up double buffs. There's the Gragas barrel just to push otacool off the turret, but unrelenting objective pressure. Both of these teams just hammering at one another.
Yeah, it's kind of how I expected this to go. I didn't really think that blue team would be able to do very much early game unless they got some good Shen ganks off, which didn't end up happening because people just die too fast for his ultimate to even be effective.
Flash over the ball actually from Dr. Ildril will take the lantern out. That's Dominus down. I actually never noticed how cool the Renekton skin looks when it's ulted, but it's less the cool factor and more the oh my goodness, there's a huge crocodile in my face. And interestingly enough, it was nothing to lose that actually backed off of that engagement. They recognized that, hey, last time we fought in the jungle where a Zyra ultimate was just absolutely huge, we lost the team fight. And so even though I feel like nothing to lose had the advantage there, they didn't want to fight the same fight that they had just got done losing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even like they have to really force fights at this point. They're so ahead that they can just play this game slow and close it out cleanly and be fine.
We'll have to see if they agree. Death cap first on Gragas. You'd almost always expect to see an Athene's Unholy Grail first, just because cooldowns work so well early on. But now it's the battle of the blue buff. We'll see that go over to... Alright, Yugi. He already had double buffs, but now with a refreshed blue buff, is still going to be the consummate playmaker for otacool. He's been the one to really, turn these last few team fights around, along with probably a lot of the gears on his body, and really has been sort of the setup for the follow-up that's been really huge. As we talked about it during Champions Select, this big AoE team fight, big engaged team from otacool. It's starting to set up. We're getting to this sort of past the 20-minute mark where Nothing to Lose may actually start to fall off, because while they are great at bursting people down, picking off one kill, in maybe solo matchups, it's not going to work quite the same way when the teams start to group up.
Yeah, while this game is paused again, let's just talk about the item builds and how that's gonna go into the late game as well. Shen is pretty much just building like Shen normally does. Looks like he's gonna go for Randuin's as his second item, so he definitely is itemizing against those strong AD carry, but I'm not sure how effective it's going to be because a lot of Corki's damage is actually magic, so I'm guessing he's just going with the Sunfire for split push and the Randuin's just for attack speed. Okay, and the game's up again.
Alright, here we go. Well, we're back and ready to go, and like we said, 20-minute mark starting to roll around. This is when you see your first big items start to come out. Yeah, you were mentioning the Randuin's from Fallen Bandit. That's as much to make him harder to take out by Dr. Ildril, who is his lane opponent, and because he actually doesn't have he has more magic damage to go up against, so stacking up all of this armor is actually really interesting, because he's building just for the 1v1 and not for the team fight, and actually could wind up biting him, because the Shen teleporting in that just gets blown up by bursty magic damage, not really gonna what you're gonna want to deal with. Fallen Bandit shadow dashing away, knows he has to get through his turret as every single member of otacool now rotates into the top lane, and even though Fallen Bandit's not doing all that badly in his lane, 1v5s are never fights you want to fight, so the rest of otacool will rejoin him, try to help that out. Ezreal lagging a little bit farther behind.
Yeah, it looks like he's just clearing out that mid wave. You never want your turrets getting pushed on while you're defending, so he's probably gonna have to ult this wave back, I would think. Oh,
there's the engage from Dolphin Trader. Looks like Dr. Ildril ults. There's the dominance, the three-man crescendo. Starting things off with Fallen Bandit going down. Now Dolphin Trader will be able to get out of there. Prophet not quite so lucky. He'll be able to fire off that true damage. Not actually hitting anyone, but the engaged, effective, yes, in that Dr. Ildril and the rest of the team, Nothing to Lose, actually had a lot of health to lose, but no actual death timers coming out for them, as they will escape with a nice 2-0 exchange, and the first secondary turret for them in the top lane will fall. And that is the first and only secondary turret in the top lane, now that I think about it, so
yeah.
That distinction probably not as distinct, but 4-13 in kills and 0-5 in turrets, all the numbers that matter in favor of Nothing to Lose.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is not even necessarily being ahead, but the fact that Nothing to Lose is actually itemizing a lot better, in my opinion. You saw Shen got blown up in like a second by Gragas's burst. He literally just died like pretty much instantaneously, so he didn't even really have the chance to do anything in that fight. He got half of a taunt off and then died mid-taunt, so it didn't go off. So there's not really enough meatiness on that team yet to be able to withstand the burst of the purple team.
We need to start ranking teams by degrees of meatiness involved in their team compositions, and it was exactly what we were talking about earlier when you mentioned the Randuin's starting to come out from Fallen Bandit. Sure, that's going to be a lot of armor, but it's a Shen who's diving into a almost triple AP, there's 4 sources of ability power damage on Nothing to Lose, and Fallen Bandit's stacking armor. So even though, yeah, that means that the attack damage from Juke King's Corki and pretty much everything from Drill, with the exception of his Sunfire cape soon to come out, as well as the magic damage dealt by his ultimate, there's so much magic damage he's diving into that, like you just said, Fallen Bandit didn't even get to get his taunt off because he just blew up when he entered the fight.
Yeah, you definitely, when your Shen is getting blown up like that, you're definitely not in a position to be contesting anything, so he just needs to stack some MR, which I would think that he would be building at least a Spirit Visage or something like that at this point, but he doesn't seem to be even like looking to change his item path, so he's gonna have to get a lot of gold from somewhere.
Fallen Bandit now will dash away from Easy. Easy knows he has the solid 1v1 advantage here just because of, like we said, the 52 magic resist on Fallen Bandit, which is going to reduce like
There's a skirmish in the mid lane.
Skirmish, yes, but it is going to be the box off. Fallen Bandit, or rather Dolphin Trader, trying to get away. There's Renekton driving in from the side. He's in 1v3. Is actually looking to win the 1v3. Is now Prophet will snare him out there. Tenacity is going to reduce the duration of that. It's going to be Prophet dropping down there. Moonway and Yugi both dangerously low, still making it out alive. Moonway kind of backing on the wrong side of the map will stay alive. Juke King dropping down to about 100 HP. Still makes it out, and overall just a 1-for-1 as both Prophet and Nicky Poo make it out, or don't make it out. Ezreal with the outplay, sweet lord, as the Qs continue to land. Actually, I think Honeydew might have been able to pick that kill up. I'm not sure. Either way, Moonway was looking for the outplay, decided that getting one was enough. We'll back out with a nice snipe on Juke King.